based upon what I see here, I can understand why she doesn't want to deal with you. So
that's her fault, not mine. Because I told her that I would pay her the money as I could.
It may be in great part.
But without a job, what do you expect?
I don't expect you to pay what you don't have. But I expect you to admit your responsibility, and I expect you to act like a gentleman to a neighbor.
The problem is she didn't talk to me. She talked to my wife through text messages.
It's very hard. It's very hard for me to explain the obvious if you don't get it. I have nothing further.
Quickly, you gave up. You rehomed CJ.
Yes,
you no longer have him. You took him to a shelter.
He spent 2.5 months at a no-kill shelter where she almost had him kicked out of, so that he could be rehomed with somebody in Lapine that has property, no other animals.
I was actually notified that they had taken the dog to the shelter, and I contacted the shelter directly because this was an unprovoked attack. I just wanted to make sure they had the information.
Why were you doing that? I mean, the dog is now out of your life. The dog is in a no-kill shelter, and you call the shelter and say what? It's a really dangerous animal, kill it?
No, I actually called them and explained to them what had happened. I gave them the information, and my whole purpose was so that who they rehomed it to, I wanted them to know so that they would be vigilant so they didn't have to worry, because I didn't want this to happen to somebody else. It was simply out of safety for anybody who actually adopted this animal. That was it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Then we're going to excuse the three of you while we deliberate in this matter. Thank you.
This courtroom is now in recess.
I mean, liability couldn't be more clear. They even know that. I think it's all of the extra tension that caused this thing to snowball. So look, they clearly owe the money. They didn't have the money, and things got heated because they lost their dog. They had to give up the dog. But you know what? You're right. I mean, Patricia, you pointed out that this was a breed that never should have been in the complex in the first place. So I don't see any way out of liability for them.
Much of his testimony supported the plaintiff's position. It's just that for some reason, his obtuseness was preventing him from seeing it. So we saw medical documentation for her injuries, for the dog. She's clearly entitled to it. I understand her position in wanting someone to know that you have to be careful, that the dog has had a situation where there has been an unprovoked attack. So I'm completely on board with you, Tanya, in wanting to reimburse her for her out-of-pocket expenses and her pain and suffering. And this was not an overreach, this amount.
No, I think the plaintiff acted appropriately in all circumstances. And unfortunately, I think defendants have taken a very defensive position and let their emotions control their reason and understanding in this case. I would hope they could resolve it, but we can't fix the world, apparently. Some parts of it, but not all of it.
Well, let's fix it one case at a time.
That's a good idea.
I'm down with that. We're unanimous?
Here we are.
We've deliberated and reached a unanimous verdict. First things first, none of you are as bad as the other side thinks you are. I'll just tell you, we hear a lot of these cases, and there are people who are like, it didn't happen. I didn't see it. Prove it. They wanted to pay you. The text messages are replete with evidence that they wanted to pay you. I think they just didn't pay you because they didn't have the money. And then it turns into this other thing. She was not being greedy. She's not overreaching. I think the call to the shelter was not to get your dog killed, but it was just to make sure that anybody who subsequently adopted this dog would know of the tendencies. Look, I've got a dog. We are defensive about our animals, and I know that it was hard. It was hard for you to give up CJ. I have no doubt about that. So I think that that's where some of this comes from. But at the end of the day, your animal, your baby, hurt her baby and her. And so it's just a simple case of legal liability, not bad people. So the judgment in this case is in your favor for $1,698, and we're going to hope that you all go have a beer later.